Hello, 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 my loves. Happy Monday, and welcome to another edition of the weekly Astro Forecast live here in the Astro Room on YouTube. So, I am your host and your favorite astrologer, Mel of Divine Feminine Works, where I help people unlock their divinity and discover their magic. So, if this is our first time meeting, hello and welcome. And as always, if you are returning, welcome back. So, this channel is everything astrology, spirituality, and manifestation. So, if those are the things you like, if those are the things you love, if those are the things you want to learn more about, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell so you'll always be notified when I come out with new content. All right, my love. So, this is the weekly Astro forecast for the week of September 25th through August through October 1st, 2023. All right. So, of course, let us let the good people over on Twitter know that we are live so that they can come and join us. All right. So, before we get started, I have a channeled message that I would like to impart on all of you. It's interesting because I don't know about you, but lately I've been feeling this undercurrent of excitement, almost like things are changing. I'm not exactly sure what they're changing into or changing from, but I feel like it's good. So I don't know if you feel the same way. If you do, put a 1 in the chat, or if you're watching this on the replay, comment with a thumbs up in the comment section. I mean, I know that the world is kind of going to shit, right? However, I feel like if you're really tapped in, if you're really on point, if you are really in alignment with your divine purpose, with your identity, with your authentic self, I feel like many of us are enjoying an upsurge, right? We're enjoying this ascension. We're enjoying this leveling up, right? And so I kind of feel that way. And it's interesting because that's exactly what this channeled message, that's like the subject of this channeled message. So things are moving positively and in an upward trajectory. Like I just said, it's like even though everything else in the world may be crumbling, may be falling apart, may be dismantling, many of us are ascending. Many of us are starting to feel blissful, euphoric even, right? Knowing that positivity, the things that we want, the things that we are trying to manifest are slowly but surely coming to fruition. And in the next couple of months, many of us are going to have reason to celebrate. There's a lot of positivity. There's a lot of whatever it is that you're trying to experience right now, whatever it is that you're working on within yourself, whatever you're trying to manifest. These things are going to start to come to fruition, or at least gain a lot of traction between now and Sagittarius season. I feel like Sagittarius season is going to be a time when many of us are really starting to see things take shape, or when things start rolling rapidly, all right? And so it's going to require a bit of patience. It's kind of like one of those situations where whatever you've been doing, keep on doing it. And you should sort of be in this state of, I like to call it joyful expectation. So rather than thinking about, oh, well, this isn't here yet. How long is it going to take for this to get here? How much more work do I have to do before I can see this? Just be like, you know what? I know it's happening. I know that even though I can't see the movement is definitely taking place. And I know that there is no way that my manifestations, there's no way that what I want out of life is not going to come to fruition. It also requires a certain amount of faith. And by faith, it's in faith in the divine, faith in yourself, and faith in the process, right? And coming from a place of confidence, like I said, it's like, you know, without a shadow of a doubt that whatever it is that you are doing, wanting to be or have is going to come to fruition. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts. It doesn't matter if you see it right now or if you don't. Okay. Now, one of the other things that's going to be important is that two things. Number one, there's this element of collaboration. And I feel like this is going to be highlighted very much during Libra season, where it's like either you are enlisting the help of others, right? Whether it's conscious or unconscious. And so let me explain. Consciously, it could be like, okay, let's say that you are desiring to, work on a new project. Perhaps that you're reaching out to people to assist you, to partner up with you, right? That would be sort of conscious collaboration. The unconscious collaboration is that, like I've always said, relationships are a reflection of ourselves. And so this unconscious collaboration is like gleaning the lessons that the relationships in our lives are teaching us. Or perhaps people in our lives are going to be delivering important messages, important advice. They may be channeling spirit without even knowing it, but whatever they have to say or whatever they have to contribute to our lives is almost vital to the things that we want or to where we're trying to go, etc. So it might just be the case that you're paying more attention to whatever's going on in your relationships and what they're showing you. And you're receptive to communications of all kinds through those relationships, okay? And then the last thing that's going to be super important during this time is that you sort of resist the urge to react to things in like a knee-jerk reaction sort of way. This is going to be a time of observation rather than impulsive action. Like I said before, it's like whatever you've been doing, you're going to want to continue to do. This may not be the time to change things up. For instance, I am someone who's very big on affirmations, particularly subliminal affirmations. Like I like to listen to subliminal affirmations at night. And sometimes when I get a little antsy and I'm not seeing the things that I'm trying to manifest or I'm getting impatient, I'm like, oh, maybe I should change up my affirmations. Maybe I should do this. Maybe I should implement that. And a lot of times it's not about implementing something new. It's not about changing up your routine. It's about being consistent with what you're already doing. And so I feel like you're going to want to resist the urge to be like, oh, let me do this. Let me do that. Thinking that you need to do something new in order to have this thing that you've been working toward. And spirit is like, nah, you don't have to do anything differently. If you've been on your P's and Q's, if you've really been doing the work, keep doing exactly what you're doing. Don't feel the need to change up, because that need to change things up really comes from a place of lack. It comes from, I don't have what I want, so let me do something differently. And that's not what we're doing during this period of time. We are not moving from a place of lack, from a place of fear, or from a place of insecurity. We're moving from a place of groundedness. We're moving from a place of confidence. We're moving from a place of whatever I'm doing is working. And so I know that whatever I'm trying to achieve will come to fruition, point blank, period. Right? So resist the urge to just impulsively take random action, especially from a place of lack. And collaborate with people. No man is an island. Many of the things that we want to achieve, we're either doing it consciously by collaborating with people and partnering up with people, or maybe we are doing it unconsciously by gleaning the lessons that these relationships and our interactions with others are showing us. All right. And I feel like if you stay the course, if you're patient, right? Patience is key. Hard, but it's key. By Sagittarius season, you might be in a place where you're like, damn, this really is coming to fruition, or wow, things are really moving quickly. Okay. So that's today's channeled message. Hopefully that reaches who it needed to reach, because I was told that there was a couple of people in particular who needed to hear that. So hopefully y'all heard it. All right. So with that being said, let's move on to our regularly scheduled program. And just a side note, if the internet happens to go out, because sometimes it does that, if the live freezes or it stops for any reason, I will just start a new live, okay? So if you find that happens, just come back onto YouTube. I will immediately start a new live and probably put this in, 2 different parts, part 1 and part 2. But hopefully I can get this all done in one shot. All right. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, of course, before we get started, announcements and housekeeping. So if you are joining me on the live this evening, thank you so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate you. Feel free to say hello in the chat on your way in and hit that like button as well. It helps with the algorithm. It helps people find this channel. And most importantly, it helps people find this information, because the point of all this is to disseminate this information so that we can all live our best lives. All right. And if you're watching this on the replay, thank you so much as well. I truly appreciate you just as much. If you find this information valuable, and I hope that you do, hit that thumbs up, subscribe, set notifications, and share these, because I feel like, again, the point of all of this is to give us all the information so that we can find ourselves, that we can live our best lives and truly have the things that we want. All right. So definitely do that, please. And thank you. All right. So in terms of announcements, I've got a couple of announcements. First thing is that October is rapidly approaching, right? October begins on Sunday. And so, of course, I will be doing the monthly astro forecast, and that will be on Wednesday, September 27th, 9:30 p.m., same time, same place, new information. I'm going to be talking about October because, honey, October is a month. October is a month, okay? We're officially entering eclipse season and things are going to get interesting. So we have 2 eclipse seasons per year. So we have one in the spring and one in the fall. So typically I find that the ones in the fall is typically like one in October, one in November. I mean, they're usually 2 weeks apart, but this is the first fall eclipse season in a while where we've got both eclipses in October. And eclipses, as you know, it's erratic, it's electric, it's all about surrendering, right? So I'll be talking about all of that on Wednesday's broadcast for the monthly astro forecast. And speaking of October, I decided to implement a new service called the Storm Warning, which is an eclipse season report. So I don't know about you, but if you take a look at the past eclipses, right? If you are someone who has a good memory and you can remember dates and when certain events happen, you should look back to the eclipses to see what happened. I don't know about you, but some wild shit has always happened during eclipse season for me. And it's almost like had I known more of what to expect, I felt like I would have been able to prepare more. You know, when you know better, you do better. And so that is the purpose behind this eclipse season report. So basically, it is an astrological transit report that basically shows you what the eclipses will mean for you. I will look at your natal chart as compared to the current astrology and basically let you know what you can expect during these eclipses. So it's a 30-minute virtual consultation where I go over the eclipse, right? The eclipse transits for you specifically. Plus, I also pull some cards from messages from spirit. It is vital for you to understand how the eclipses will play out in your life. And that's exactly the point of this service. And it's very affordable. It's $60. 30-minute virtual consultation gives you everything that you need to know for this eclipse season. I just launched this service today and it will continue until November, and then I will shut it down and wait until the following eclipse season. So if you are interested in scheduling and booking and scheduling are the same thing, ordering and booking this service, the service is linked to the video, and I will also put the link in the description box below. Okay, super important, very informative, and I'm sure that you will absolutely love it. All right. All right. And then as far as other announcements, next week, the weekly astro forecast, I won't be doing it on Monday, but rather I'll be doing it on Tuesday, as on Monday I will be traveling. So next week's weekly astro forecast won't be on Monday. It'll be on Tuesday at 9:30 p.m. But check my community tab because I'll put all that information in there for you. As far as this week is concerned, we've got a full moon in Aries, which is going to be bringing the heat. And I'm going to be dropping all the details in a video dedicated specifically to the full moon in Aries. And that video will be dropping tomorrow. All right. So set your notifications, subscribe so you don't miss it. All right. And then finally, as always, I got to promote my signature service, which is the Blueprint, which is your natal chart report. It's a 60-minute virtual consultation where I read your natal chart for filth, basically, and I let you know exactly who you are. I let you know about your relationships, your career, your money, healing, all of that stuff. It's amazing. People seem to love it. But most importantly, it's a powerful tool for self-discovery. That's the point of astrology. Is astrology, at least the way that I approach it and teach it, is all about self-discovery. So if you're interested in that signature service as well, it is also linked to the video and in the description box below. All right. So that is all for announcements. So let's get into the week. So of course, like I mentioned before, we've got the full moon in Aries going down this week. And Aries is bold, it's spicy, it's fiery. And when we're talking about a full moon, we're talking about complete illumination. This particular full moon is going to be interesting because even though it's in the sign of Aries, which has a lot to do with the self, Aries energy can be very headstrong, very selfish. It's great for starting new things. And that's definitely going to be evident with the energy of this full moon. However, the way that this full moon is set up astrologically speaking has a lot to do with relationships. And this has everything to do with the sun being in Libra, right? Libra is all about relationships. But Venus is also going to be a major player in this particular full moon. So this may be about forming new relationships, right? Especially when it comes to achieving new things. There may be things about your current relationships that may be illuminated, because remember, full moons are all about illumination, and they're all about uncovering things that may have been hidden, right? So we may get very clear on particular relationships for better or for worse, or we may get clear on the fact that there's many things that that we may want to begin at this time, that we may want to start, and realizing that certain relationships may be vital for that. All right. So it's going to be a powerful full moon, but I will get more into that a bit later. All right. But first, let's get into the highlights and see exactly what we've got going on. All right. So first and foremost, we have what I like to call surprising revelations, and this is going to be the full moon in Aries. So on the same day, Venus will be square Uranus, and so this is about expecting the unexpected, especially when it comes to relationships, right? There's also going to be this clarity with respect to starting something new, like I mentioned before, as well as understanding your desires and motivations. Again, every time we're talking about a full moon, we're talking about illumination. So this may be the time when you get really clear, or the universe shows you, like via a neon sign, metaphorically, what you want, or what motivates you, or what you're driven toward at this time. And again, with a focus on relationships with this full moon, I feel like many of us are going to figure out, who to keep in our corner and perhaps who to let go, right? But because it's a full moon, and because Aries is the start of the zodiac, I feel like it may be figuring out who we want on our team. Okay, very interesting. Next up, we have what I like to call good news and instincts. All right. And we've got 2 Mercury transits this week, which is going to highlight communication in various forms. So first, we have Mercury trine Jupiter, and this is just plain old good news. So definitely today, probably maybe over the weekend and a little later on into the week, definitely into midweek, you may be receiving good news, or you may just be optimistic and hopeful about life or about travel or anything like that. Then later on in the week, we've got Mercury trine Uranus, and this is going to set your intuition on fire, your intuition and your instincts. It's about having good instincts, having good intuition, and allowing yourself to be led by that. Communicating, leading with your intuition is going to be super important. And of course, anytime we talk about Mercury, we are talking about thoughts, communication, and definitely socializing. This is going to be one of those weeks where it pays to be social for various reasons, but this is not the week where you want to just hide out at home, avoid phone calls. You may really want to put yourself out there and either listen to what other people have to say or speak your piece, promote yourself. All of those things are going to thrive this week. Okay. And then finally, we have what I like to call the need to be free. And this is Venus square Uranus. So Venus square Uranus is one of those transits that brings freedom, excitement. It definitely wants you to venture out of your comfort zone, deviate from your routine, right? And definitely keep an open mind. Venus has everything to do with relationships. So like I said, this is the week where you're going to want to be social, because you may be surprised at what you hear. You may be surprised at what you find. You may be surprised at who is here to help you. I feel like a lot can be revealed this week if you're willing to put yourself out there and remain open-minded. All right. So let's take a look at the week and see what we've got going on. So today we've got Mercury trine Jupiter. And again, this is all about good news. Tomorrow we have the moon moving into Pisces. Thereafter on Thursday, we have the moon moving into Aries, whereby on Friday it will reach full moon status and Venus will square Uranus simultaneously. Then on Saturday, we've got Mercury trine Venus, and we close out the week with the moon in Taurus. All right, so without further ado, let's get into it. All right, my love. So today we've got Mercury trine Jupiter, and you'll see Mercury at the upper left-hand portion of the chart at 14 degrees Virgo, and Jupiter at the right-hand portion of the chart at 14 degrees Taurus. All right. So both of these planets are in Earth signs. So you can expect tangible news, things having to do with work, things having to do with tangible things, with products, right? Perhaps the good news that you get today is that a shipment is coming in, right? I know that was good news for me. I received the shipment early, and that was great news for me. But any news that you receive would be sort of tangible or have an earth-like quality to it. Like I said before, like work or career or something like that. So this transit is great because it allows you to see the bigger picture and be hopeful and optimistic. But the interesting thing is that Jupiter allows you to see the bigger picture. Mercury, especially Mercury in Virgo, as it currently is, it's all about seeing the details. So it's like you can simultaneously see the details and the granularness of whatever it is, plus the bigger picture. And when you put those two together, this is the perfect transit to start planning things, especially when it comes to things like work and or money. So if you want to put together a financial plan, a marketing plan, a sales plan, if you want to just plan for the future, maybe you want to start putting your resume out there, applying for jobs, trying to develop new streams of income today. And I probably say for the next 2 or 3 days is the time where you're going to want to put pen to paper and you're going to want to flesh those ideas out. Not just flesh them out, but memorialize them, like writing them down or typing them into your computer, right? Like this is going to be super important because again, you're going to be able to see the granular details plus the bigger picture. Business dealings are favored during this time. So this is the time to make sales, negotiate, conduct business of all kinds, right? This is also a great time for legal matters, great time for being social. It's a fortunate time with good luck. Like I said, you may receive good news or you may just be in a position to create your own luck because of your optimism and hope in the future. I hope that made sense. Because you're feeling good, because you're able to see the bigger picture, you're in a position to create your own luck. So like I said, this is the time when you're going to want to be social, when you're going to want to promote yourself, when you're going to want to sell, when you're going to want to write, when you're going to want to disseminate information, because you never know what's going to come back around to you. And I feel like the presence of Jupiter is going to allow some really good, tangible things to come back around. Jupiter is the planet of abundance. And when it's in a sign like Taurus, this is literal money. The money is trying to find you. You just have to sort of put yourself out there. Now, as a personal note, if you are a business owner, I know how difficult it can be. I know for me, self-promotion has always been the hardest thing. Trying not to be too salesy, trying not to be too pretentious, but still getting your services and your products out there can be challenging if you're not someone who's already comfortable with that. However, with this particular transit, sell yourself, talk to people, let people know what you do, what you sell, what you have to offer, what services you can provide to them, what value you can provide to them. Jupiter and Taurus has everything to do with value. Expressing your value is what creates fortunate opportunities. I'm going to repeat that again. Expressing your value allows you to create fortunate opportunities. A closed mouth doesn't get fed. So this is the time for you to be vocal about who you are, what you do, and what you have to offer. All right. All right. So that's Monday. Let's keep it moving. All right. So tomorrow on Tuesday, we have the moon moving into Pisces, and you will see that in the circle, right? In the upper left-hand portion of the chart. Now, you'll see the moon is in close proximity to Saturn. All right. They're actually 1 degree apart. The moon is going to be at 0 degrees. Saturn is going to be at 1 degree, and they're going to definitely cross each other over the next 2 days. And this is important because anytime you have the moon hitting a planet, emotions could be, how would I say this? Anytime you have the moon hitting a planet, it can really alter your emotions. So, moon in Pisces generally, this is when we are dreamy, imaginative, and creative. Pisces energy is otherworldly. Pisces energy allows us to dream, to imagine, to fantasize. Pisces also has the energy signature of illusion, fantasy, deceit, all of those things. Things not appearing real is definitely the realm of Pisces. So when the moon is in Pisces, we find emotional satisfaction in the otherworldly. We find emotional satisfaction by escaping reality, right? This is when we can escape reality via creativity, right? Creative endeavors, painting, dance, music, what have you. This is when we can imagine, when we can fantasize. Whenever the moon is in Pisces, from a manifestation standpoint, this is when you want to visualize things. Visualizing will become a lot more easier, and you'll feel really good for visualizing the future, visualizing how you want things to be. Imagination is what really creates reality. And society will have you think otherwise, right? But it's really your imagination that shapes your particular reality. So when the moon is in Pisces, that is exactly what you want to do. It's a time when you are prone to escapism, when you're prone to addictive behaviors. Anything that takes you outside of reality makes you feel good, like I said, during Pisces season, for better or for worse. So be mindful of how you're escaping reality and if you're actually able to come back. Now, we're making our way to the full moon. So the moon is definitely still increasing in illumination, right? So when the moon is in Pisces in the waxing phase, we're really urged to address our inner world, understanding that is our inner world, our imagination, our thoughts, our beliefs about ourselves and about the world in general that create our 3D reality. So this is the time when you really want to visualize, when you want to imagine, when you want to see it in your mind's eye before you can see it with your real eyes, right? Now, I said before that whenever the moon hits a certain planet, right, it can alter your emotions. So the thing with Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn is currently retrograde, is that think of Pisces as like a helium balloon, right? Just floating up in the sky. Saturn can kind of be like a pin that pops that balloon and brings it down to earth. Whenever we're talking about Saturn, we're talking about reality. We're talking about very sobering kind of thoughts. Now, in one way, this can be pretty good because Pisces, like I said before, has a tendency to want to escape reality and can escape reality via sometimes unhealthy ways, whether it's alcohol, overconsumption, right? Alcohol, drugs, sex, food, whatever it is, any sort of addictive behaviors is covered by Pisces. Saturn will allow you to be a little more grounded, maybe not so much desiring to completely escape reality, but be allowing you to be grounded and allowing you to be a bit realistic. This is clutch when it comes to manifesting, because although it is great to imagine, although it is great to visualize the things that we want, Saturn gives it a little twist of reality and sort of grounds us in a way that allows us to take that vision, that imaginative movie, and make it into something tangible and real. So I will definitely say tomorrow on Tuesday, you will want to take some time to visualize, and you'll want to it's almost like you'll want to visualize and then sort of try to not try. Let me repeat. Let me go back. You're going to want to visualize and allow spirit to inspire you to take tangible action in the 3D. What I mean by that is don't try to think of, I should do this, I should do that, I should call this person, I should look this up. Visualize. Visualize not like, oh, I hope this will happen. Visualize like you already have it. Visualize like you're already that person. Visualize that you're already in that relationship. Visualize that you're already a millionaire. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What does that smell like? How does your partner feel when they hold your hands? You know, all of that good stuff. Meditate on that. And then allow spirit to show you the tangible action steps that you need to take. For example, you're visualizing a millionaire. You're visualizing being a millionaire. And you're like, oh, I look like this. I wear these kind of clothes. I drive this car. And you just meditate. And by meditate, I mean play that visualization on loop. Maybe you want to listen to subliminal affirmations. And if you do, shameless plug, you know, like I said, you got to express the value to make your own opportunities, right? I do custom subliminal affirmations. And if you're interested in that, the information to that will be in the description box below. Listen to subliminal affirmations, visualize these things on loop, right? And then you will experience inspired action, things that spirit wants you to do in the 3D. So you're not just running like a chicken with your head cut off, right? And doing random shit that probably won't get you closer to the things that you want anyway. You're taking action that directly correlates to the visualization that you are holding in your mind and in your mind's eye. So going back to my example, you want to be a millionaire, right? And you meditate on this. And the spirit is like, oh, why don't you look up this course? You look up this course, you realize, oh, this is interesting. I want to take it. You take the course, and then turns out your teacher can hook you up with a business partner. And before you know it, you start making money. It's the bridge of incidents. It's breadcrumbing you to exactly where you need to go. Okay. So again, it's inspired action. This isn't the time to rack your brain and say, oh, let me do this. Let me do that. Let me try this. Let me try that. Resist that temptation. Visualize what you want. Allow spirit to tell you where to go, what to do, and who to talk to. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, before we get into this, let me just shout out everyone that is here in the chat. All right, I see Doug T, Annie Goldstrom, we've got Ramel, we've got Philip Boone, and we've got April. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate it. All right. So moving on to Thursday. On Thursday, we've got the moon moving into Aries, and you'll see that in the circle on the upper left-hand portion of the chart. The moon will be at 0 degrees Aries. Okay. So stark contrast from when the moon is in Pisces. You know, that whole diatribe I just went into with the moon in Pisces and visualizing and fantasizing, all of that stuff. That is not how Aries operates. Now, remember I said inspired action. Allow the moon in Pisces, the time when the moon is in Pisces, allow yourself to visualize, fantasize, all that stuff I mentioned before. When the moon is in Aries, that's when you take action. But like I also said before, it should be inspired action. This is going to be the action steps that you are inspired to do, right? You know, when you have a goal, when you're trying to achieve something, and you have certain tasks that you are fired up about that you want to do, and then you have other tasks or other things that just feel like a chore that you just really don't want to engage in, right? Now, if you allow yourself to be divinely inspired to action, it's almost like you're fired up about everything that you want to do. Even if you're not fired up, it's sometimes inspired action can be effortless. Like you don't even think about it. It's almost like you're on autopilot and you just do something. You don't question it. You don't doubt it. You don't second guess it. You just do it, and it's just in alignment. You know when you're in alignment and you do something and it just feels right. It feels effortless. These are the kind of action steps that you're going to want to take when the moon is in Aries. And again, it has to be inspired action. Now, typically, Aries energy is impulsive. It can be a bit erratic. It can be very driven and motivated, right? It's like someone lights a fire under your ass and you're just like, yeah, I just want to go. I just want to do this. I just want to do that, right? And I feel like if you allow yourself to be divinely inspired, that's how you're going to feel. Like I said in the channeled message when I started this broadcast, you're going to want to resist the temptation for knee-jerk reactions. I feel like when the moon is in Aries, you're going to feel like I should be doing this, I should be doing that. Like you're going to want to sort of scatter your energy, or you're going to have the urge to scatter your energy. And I feel like that's where you kind of have to rein it in. This isn't about doing 1,000,001 things. If you are meant to do 1,000,001 things, I think that spirit would guide you to do that. Otherwise, this is a time when you've got to focus your energy. It may be just doing one task that you're divinely inspired to do. It's not about scattering your energy all over the place. So you're going to want to listen, tap in with your spirit team, and allow yourself to be divinely led. Again, this isn't the time for knee-jerk reactions or doing X, Y, and Z or running like a chicken with your head cut off. This is about focus. And the best way to get focused is to tap in with spirit. All right. So that is Thursday. Let's keep it moving. All right, so Friday, you're going to want to put a gold star next to Friday because it's the gold star day of the week. We've got the full moon in Aries plus Venus square Uranus. So you will see at the very left-hand portion of the chart, you will see the sun at 6 degrees Libra, and you will see the moon exactly opposite at 6 degrees Aries. Like, I'm sure if you've watched any of my videos before, you will know that the full moon is when the sun and the moon are opposite, and that's exactly what you can see right here. Then we also have Venus square Uranus. So at the left-hand portion of the chart, you'll see Venus at 22 degrees Leo, and you will see Uranus at the right-hand portion of the chart at 22 degrees Taurus. All right, so first up, let's talk about full moon in Aries. I'm going to go into greater detail in a dedicated video, which is going to drop tomorrow. But suffice it to say, full moon in Aries is going to be like the blinders are finally taken off. Like, it's going to be complete illumination that may be kind of sudden, kind of bold, and kind of dynamic, right? Because that's exactly how Aries energy operates. So Aries is about starting new things. Aries, the energy signature of Aries is very pioneering. It's very initiating in a bold, dynamic, and often impulsive kind of way. Now, Aries energy, I would say, is very much, how would I say this? I'm trying to find the right words. When you think of new moon energy, with the new moon starting anew, that's very much how Aries energy is. But when you have Aries at the full moon stage, it's like sort of an ending that precedes a new beginning. Since Aries is pioneering, it's like the full moon can illuminate what you may need to start. It may also illuminate what's not working so you can start something new that actually does, okay? So the full moon in Aries is going down at 5:57 a.m. on Friday, September 29th. That's Eastern Standard Time. And it's going down at 6 degrees Aries. Now, remember I said before that this particular full moon in Aries has a lot to do with relationships. And that's partially because of the fact that the sun is in Libra, which is the sign of relationships, but also because the number 6, the numerology of the number 6 is associated with Venus. Venus is the ruler of Libra, hence relationships. So again, I feel like this may be an illumination with respect to who should be on your team, who you should partner up with, and perhaps maybe who you kind of need to sit on the sidelines. Maybe you may need to bench some people, right? Either way, this Aries full moon is going to illuminate the relationships in your life, okay? This may also illuminate new projects that you may need to or may want to begin at this point. And it's going to be very important for you to remember to not scatter your energy. The cosmological makeup of this particular full moon has everything to do with focus. You're going to want to rein things in and focus on the task at hand. Keep this in mind because I feel like this full moon is going to get you really revved up and be like, yeah, I want to do this. I want to have this, and it requires me to do X, Y, and Z. Have you ever gotten like a flash of insight and it's like you realize, okay, this is what I want to do, but to do this, it requires me to do that. And to do that requires me to do this. And before you know it, it's this whole like connect the dots situation where you've got to do 1,000,001 tasks to get to that end result. And you're fired up and you almost feel like the synapses in your brain are firing on all cylinders, right? And you're like, I got to do this, I got to do that. And you're hype about it, right? I feel like that energy is going to be very rampant during this full moon. And it's really important for you to, again, rein it in and focus on at least the immediate task at hand, or at least what you're inspired to do in the moment. Now, speaking of firing on all cylinders, especially when it comes to your synapses, that same day, Venus is going to be squaring Uranus. And so basically, this is going to give this full moon an air of excitement and electricity. Again, Venus is a major player because of the numerology, but also because Venus will be in an exact square to Uranus, right? Everything having to do with relationships. But here's the thing, Venus square Uranus has a lot to do with veering from your normal routine, especially in relationships. So here's the thing. If you're in a relationship of any kind, right? Could be romantic, business, friendship, family, not so much. But for those other three kind of relationships, if you've been experiencing boredom, if you've been experiencing a lack of excitement, this transit may inject some excitement into your relationship, but it may not necessarily be the good kind of excitement. Or it may be you're excited and you want to veer out of your relationship. I didn't even mean to say that, but I did mean to say that, veering out of your relationship, right? Sneaky link kind of activity. Or if you just want to experience something different and exciting, but maybe your partner doesn't. Stable relationships, you'll be Gucci. Unstable relationships, I don't know. This may have you looking elsewhere, wanting to experience something new, perhaps with someone else. So keep that in mind. This is one of those transits where you don't want to deny your urges. Now, that could be for better or for worse, and you'll want to use your discernment as to which of those urges you should not deny or what you should be doing. Because again, there's some interesting activity that can go down with this particular transit. So keep that in mind, right? Now, this could also have you being impulsive when it comes to spending. Venus also has to do with money. So when it comes to spending, when it comes to any sort of financial activity, you may be feeling amped, impulsive. You may want to be doing the most. You may want to do something different because you feel like it. Maybe you're someone who saves a lot. You're like frugal with your money. This particular transit may find that you just want to go balls to the wall and go on a shopping spree, do some wild shit, whatever, right? And there's a place for that. There's definitely a place for that. Obviously, you don't want to do anything that'll throw a monkey wrench in your overall financial plans or anything like that. But sometimes we need to get out of the rut. We need to get out of the routine. We need to do something different and exciting. Just make sure it's not detrimental to you or to anyone else, okay? And this is that undercurrent of excitement that many of us are feeling right now, particularly with this full moon coming up. So it's one of those situations where if you feel sometimes you need to go on the road less traveled in order to get to your destination. And I feel like Venus square Uranus is one of those transits that allows you to do that. Maybe you have a situation where people are inviting you to do different things or inviting you to go somewhere you've never gone, interact with people you've never interacted with. There may be a divine reason for that. You have to be flexible and open-minded. A lot of the times we think that what we want is linear and we think that we need to do A through Z to get there. Meanwhile, Spirit is like, no, you've got to do A, F, Q, R, back around to A, talk to this person you never talked to, go to this country. Like divine inspiration, inspired action will have you sometimes doing things you never thought you would do. But that's because we're always looking at things from our limited perspective, from our physical eyes, right? From our, I don't want to say that our limited mental capacity. Like, let me call a spade, right? But when you tap into the divine sees everything. The divine knows everything. Things that you don't know, things that you don't see. If you allow yourself to be spirit-led, you will do amazing things. We co-create with the universe all the time. And if you're conscious of that co-creation, there is nothing that you cannot have. So you got to be flexible. You got to be open-minded. You got to allow yourself to get out of your routine, right? And that's exactly what this full moon in Aries, as well as Venus square Uranus, is going to deliver to us on Friday, right? And again, if you want to know more about the full moon in Aries, I'll be dropping a dedicated video all about that tomorrow. So stay tuned. All right. So with that, let's keep it moving. All right, so we close out the week on Saturday with Mercury trine Uranus and the moon moving into Taurus. So you will see at the left-hand portion of the chart, you will see the moon at 0 degrees Taurus. You'll also see Uranus, that blue guy in the red circle to the left-hand portion of the chart. Then you'll also see Mercury at the bottom right-hand portion. Uranus is in Taurus, Mercury is in Virgo. All right, so let's discuss. So Mercury trine Uranus. So Uranus is also kind of a major player this week because we just had Venus square Uranus on Friday, and then Mercury would trine Uranus on Saturday. So Mercury trine Uranus is kind of more of the same. It's really about allowing yourself to be led by your intuition, number one, stay open to the possibilities, and be flexible. Mercury trine Uranus is like communicating with the right people. It could be overhearing a conversation that you really need. It could be information that you need, information that's valuable to you, that's sort of randomly coming to you, whether it's through people, whether you stumble upon it on the internet. This particular transit is great for internet research. So if there's anything that you are looking to achieve at this time, internet research will definitely be your friend. And you may be divinely inspired to look up things that you may not have thought about or that you may not have realized were helpful to you. Okay. Most importantly, your senses are going to be stimulated, especially your mental abilities, your psychic abilities, your intuition, your instincts. Flashes of insight are going to be extremely important. So whatever it is that your intuition is like, oh, let's do this, follow that. You may be experiencing aha moments, light bulb moments, things finally making sense. Again, remain open to the possibilities. You won't be disappointed. And also sharing ideas with people, particularly people that may be different than you, that have different viewpoints than you. It's one of those situations, again, like I said earlier, this is the week where you're going to want to be vocal, where you're going to want to talk to people. This is not the week to be a wallflower or a recluse. There is a lot to be gained this week if you will just put yourself out there, open your damn mouth, right? A closed mouth doesn't get fed. And express yourself and stay open to the possibilities. Like, possibilities are really endless. And if you're willing to do those things, you are going to start to see things start to move forward and fall into place. And then finally, we close out the week with the moon in Taurus. Moon in Taurus is one of my favorite placements, actually, because whenever the moon is in Taurus, that's when we want to get comfy and cozy, right? We've spent our time visualizing and fantasizing when the moon was in Pisces. We allowed ourselves to be in divinely inspired to action when the moon was in Aries. And now when the moon is in Taurus, we kind of get to relax. This is when we can Netflix and chill. This is when we can put on our favorite sweats, watch movies, eat ice cream, be comfortable. The overarching theme of moon in Taurus is that you need to take time to stop and smell the roses. It's about appreciation. It's about seeing the value in rest. It's about seeing the value in comfort, in being comfortable, to, allow life to slow down a bit and just enjoy where you're at and appreciate where you're at. And that's a wonderful way to sort of wrap up this week and get ourselves ready for next week, because next week, the astrology, honey, there's a lot going on next week. So when the moon is in Taurus between Saturday and Sunday, make sure you take the time to rest. Even if you're not actively sleeping, you're going to want to just chill out. Like I said, stop and smell the roses, get comfortable, and prepare yourself for the week ahead. That's a perfect way to end the week. All right, my loves. So that is this week's weekly astro forecast. So now I will be pulling cards for messages from Spirit. Now, of course, I do this by sign. However, whatever message resonates with you is for you. It could be your sun sign, your moon sign, your Venus sign, Jupiter, North Node. Doesn't matter. If the message is for you, then it's for you. All right. So as always, we start off with Aries. Let's see what we got for Aries for this particular week. All right, Aries. We've got the Four of Wands. I just heard the comfort of home. So for some of you, I think that what you want to work on or what you're amped about right now is home. And not just home as in a physical space. That would be like house. When I say home, I mean like who makes a home? Who feels like home to you? If you look at this card, you'll see these two people here. They're celebrating with this castle in the background. This is like creating a home with someone. I feel like for some of you, this is what's on your mind, or more importantly, this is what's in your heart. Venus is still in Leo. Leo is your fifth house, your house of romance. So some of you have romance on the brain. Some of you are very fired up when it comes to a particular romantic situation. You could be wanting to move in with someone. You could be having these conversations about taking a relationship to a new level. I feel this energy of warmth and of euphoria, this sort of bliss. And I feel like if you're not currently feeling that way, I definitely feel like the full moon in your sign, right, is going to have you wanting this, or is going to make it very clear how this sort of energy, this blissful life together with someone, how it's looking for you right now. Again, I feel like this full moon in your sign is going to illuminate how you feel about this, where you stand with this, all of that. So when it comes to a romantic situation, I feel like there's a lot of illumination that can occur this week with this full moon. But be mindful of conflict. Wanting this at all costs may cause you to act out, may cause you to get combative. So just be mindful of conflicts as it relates to this energy. You may be triggered, or you may feel like your partner's not listening or cooperating, and it may really rile you up. All right. So be mindful of any conflicts that ensue. But otherwise, step into and embody that energy of euphoria, of being together, of cohabitating, of having this beautiful, blissful home together. And that is exactly what will come to fruition. Okay. All right. Next up, we've got Taurus. Let's see what we've got for Taurus for this week. Taurus. We've got the 5 of Cups, okay? As soon as I saw this card, as soon as I pulled this card, I heard mourning. Some of you are mourning right now. You're mourning what you thought has not worked. You're mourning what you thought you lost. But I want you to take a good look at this card. So over here, there's 3 cups that are spilled, right? This is what you're mourning. You're mourning this loss. It could be the loss of a friendship. It could be the loss of anything that you had an emotional attachment to, or anyone that you had an emotional attachment to. But I want you to take a look at these 2 cups right here. These 2 cups that you can't see, they represent the 2 cups of love. There could be a relationship that didn't work in the past that may perhaps work in the future. Or maybe this particular relationship didn't work, but there's another relationship that you can't quite see yet, that hasn't quite come to fruition, that is like right behind you. So it's all about a shift in perspective. Rather than thinking about what you lost, kind of turn around and look at what you potentially have to gain, particularly as it relates to a relationship or something for which you are emotionally attached, or to which you are emotionally attached. It's not all gloom and doom. All is not lost. If you truly want something, maybe it's going to come back around. Or maybe recent events have showed you that it's time to let this thing go. But in letting go and in mourning this thing properly, mourning this relationship properly, you can now pivot and you can now turn your focus and shift your perspective to these. I'm sorry, it's like backward to me, so I can't always see. These 2 cups right here. Love is in your midst. Love is right around the corner. It's just a shift in perspective. Okay. All right. Next up, we've got Gemini. Let's see what we've got for Gemini for this week. Gemini. Ooh. We've got the Lovers. And we've got the Empress. I just heard, I want her to be my baby mama. Ooh, okay, Gemini. So far, all 3 signs, all of y'all have had relationship focus this week. And I see that trend continues. Gemini, you are thinking about commitment. You're thinking about motherhood. You're thinking about nesting, putting a nest egg, having kids. Like everything in the traditional sense of relationships is sort of where you're at right now. And because both of these cards are the major arcana, it's like spirit is guiding you toward these things. There's almost this element of these kind of energies being activated within you right now. So whether you're a man, you could be thinking of a relationship where you want to really wife someone up. Perhaps you want this person to be the mother of your children. If you are a woman, you're looking to really get partnered up and you're looking to be a mother or give birth to something as it pertains to this relationship, right? So I get for Gemini, you guys are being activated. You may have given up on these things, or these things have perhaps have perhaps have been very challenging. Like maybe you've tried to have these things in the past and they just didn't work out. They didn't work out in the way that you wanted them to. And Spirit is telling me that's because you sort of put the cart before the horse. Rather than being in alignment, this was really a situation where you're like, I don't care. I just want this. Let's make this happen. And when it didn't happen, you doubted yourself. You're like, oh, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe relationships aren't for me. Maybe I can't have what I want, right? And Spirit is like, that's so not true. It's really about getting in alignment. And Spirit is like, I'm going to start to show you. I'm going to start to get you ready for this. I'm going to start activating this within you. So it really behooves you to be open-minded, especially when it comes to the interactions that you have, because I'm getting the sense it's other people that's going to start to activate this within you. For some, I'm hearing it doesn't necessarily have to do with relationships. It has to do with like money and abundance. Like you're going to have relationships, not necessarily romantic, that are going to activate this energy of what the hell? This energy of abundance, of being able to give birth to something, right? Other people are going to help activate this within you. Okay. So you really need to open your eyes, open your mouth, and allow the universe to do its thing. Because again, I feel like these energies are going to be activated in you so that you can finally have these things. Okay. All right. That was Gemini. So now we've got Cancer. Let's see what we've got for Cancer for this week. All right, Cancer, we've got the 8 of Wands. Some of you are taking a trip this week, so I see some kind of air travel or some long distance travel. For others of you, there is this really fast moving energy. What I'm being shown is, if any of you are familiar with the New York City subway, or any subway for that matter, or maybe even any train, you know, when you're waiting for the train and you're on the platform and the train is coming by, before you can see the train, you feel this gust of wind, especially on the New York City subway. You feel this gust of wind. You may even see the lights of the train before the train actually arrives in the station. And that's the energy I'm seeing for you right now. Some of you, it's like you're getting this push from the universe to move forward and to expand. I actually want to pull a second card for you and see what this has to do with. What are you being pushed toward? Okay, we've got the Strength card. Some of you are being pushed toward doing something very courageous. I used the word expansion, and that wasn't by accident. Some of you are being pushed outside of your comfort zone, and you're really being guided to be courageous about it. You've got to quiet that inner noise. You got to quiet that inner fear that's like, no, I can't do this, or no, this isn't the right time, or no, I shouldn't do this. It's not going to work out for me. Spirit is like, it very well is going to work out for you, but I may have to sort of take you there like kicking and screaming first. Nothing against your will, obviously, although Spirit may be giving you situations that sort of strengthen your willpower. So you may feel tested this week. You may feel like your strength is tested, your resolve is tested. You may be required to conquer some fears this week, but it's all good and it's all towards expansion. Cancer, I want to say that over the last couple of weeks, this energy that I remember from your readings and that I am tapping into right now is that you are being guided to leave your shell behind. It's about breaking out of your shell and going away from home. It could be physical travel. It could also be, you guys are the sign that when it comes to home, that's your domain. That's where a lot of your energy and effort lies. And I feel like you're being guided to I'm not saying that you should neglect your duties at home, but it's time to shift your focus away from home. For some, it's time to be selfish, right? Maybe you put your family first and it's time to really put yourself first. For others, it may be time to venture away from home. I'm seeing like not a regular crab, one of those mollusks or whatever that's able to like get out of their shell. So I'm seeing like you getting out of your shell and moving away from your shell. So again, this could be physical travel. This could just be expansion in your life. It could be putting yourself first and really allowing your desires to take precedence. And I think that scares some of you. For some, I feel like it's different. You don't know how your family is going to react, the people that you rely on, the people that are your home, the people that make you feel like home. You don't know how they're going to react. And that scares you a little bit. But Spirit is like, you need to push past this fear because there's something that you're being expanded into. And it requires you to really get your willpower up. The Strength card is indicative of Leo energy. Venus is currently in Leo, not for much longer, but for a little bit, Venus is still going to be in Leo. Perhaps for some, this is about your self-worth. This is about expressing yourself authentically. For others, it could be a romantic partnership that perhaps takes you away from your family, that requires you to travel, that may be long distance, that may cut the apron strings when it comes to a mother figure, or your family in general. And you're being expanded into this. Keep an open mind and allow yourself to be divinely inspired to action. And you'll find that in not that far of the future, you're going to be in a very different position. And I feel like you're going to be feeling really good about it. Okay. All right, Cancer. Next up, we've got Leo. Let's see what we've got for Leo for this week. Okay, Leo. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. Leo, you are uncharacteristically, you're not yourself this week, but in kind of a good way. You guys are sort of taking on Virgo energy, or you're really tapped into the energy of Virgo at this time. I feel like you're getting all your ducks in a row. I feel like you're taking your vitamins. I feel like you are organizing your paperwork. I feel like you're really getting your life in order. I'm hearing like Marie Kondo, is that her name? You know, the woman that is the expert at organizing people's houses and getting people to throw out things that don't bring them joy. Like, I feel like that is the kind of zen that you are tapped into this week. Like, you are really getting your life in order. And in doing so, you're feeling a lot more confident about yourself. You know, Leo, you guys are ruled by the sun, and you guys are also you have an energy signature of the solar plexus chakra, which has everything to do with our confidence, our willpower. It's how we express ourselves, right? And I feel like lately you haven't been feeling like yourself. You know, that typical Leo, look at me, I'm the main character energy. You may have been exuding that, but it may have been like a front. You may have been like, oh yeah, I'm good. Meanwhile, you're not feeling or you haven't been feeling as confident as you would have liked. And sort of the solution to that is getting organized. Doing the not so sexy, the not so main character stuff, the not so playful, fun, and childlike energy like stuff. It's really doing the boring adulting stuff. Some of you are really adulting at this time, and it's making you feel good. I feel like this is the confidence boost that you need. Not sexy, but necessary. All right, so keep doing what you're doing. I feel like in the not so distant future, you'll definitely get your confidence back, and you'll be able to step back into that main character energy with confidence. All right. All right. Next up, we've got Virgo. Let's see what we got for Virgo for this week. Virgo. I like this for you. Oh, we got the 10 of Pentacles. Virgo. Money is looking excellent this week. It's like you've got your ducks in a row. I'm hearing ancestor money. Now, while I must say that I am not someone who engages in burning ancestor money, for some of you, I'm hearing that you may want to do that this week. There is like this ancestral abundance that is finally about to hit you, or that's on its way to you. So this could be like an inheritance. This could be money that you've been owed for a while. I feel like it's tangible money that's coming to you. I'm getting like money from a long time ago. So if you've had people that owed you money and they never came through or whatever, I see that coming through. There's also this feeling of complete financial stability. And even if you're not currently feeling that way, I feel like this is the week where you're going to want to embody that, because that embodiment is going to lead to it actually being in your reality. But money is looking excellent. And maybe this is the time to commune with your ancestors. Maybe this is the time to either do some altar work, a prosperity altar would also be a good thing for you right now. For others of you, this may just have you trying to, or at least attempting to, embody the mindset of generational wealth, of thinking of money in bigger terms, rather than just thinking of the paycheck that you get now or even your salary. What do you want your overall financial picture to look like? And most importantly, how do you want that to feel? That's what you need to focus on this week. And again, focusing on it, embodying it, will allow this to come to fruition. Okay, so money is here. It's not, money is here. Money is here for you. Complete financial stability is here for you. You just have to, it's like the radio station, right? And I don't know how old you guys are. Radio stations now, you just press a button, but you know when you had to turn the dial and you actually had to tune to the particular frequency of that radio station? It's like, this is the week that reminds you that abundance doesn't have to be created. It already is created. You just have to tune into that frequency. If you know that you want to listen to jazz and jazz is at the frequency of 107.9, what do? You turn the dial to 107.9, right? That's exactly what we're doing this week with money. This isn't about thinking, oh, I have to create money. I don't have money, so I have to create it. No. That money is already created. It's already sitting there waiting for you. All you have to do is attune to that frequency. And how do you attune to that frequency? You embody having it already. It's not like, damn, I need an extra $100. Oh, I have this extra $100. What am I going to do with it? Oh, let me save this extra $100. Actually, I don't have it with me now. But one of the things that I do to get myself attuned to money is I keep fake money. I keep fake money that looks like real money. And whatever my affirmations are, I count my money. I feel it in my hand. I feel what it feels like to literally have this money. That's what I mean by embodying it. And by embodying it, it will be yours. You're not creating it. You're just attuning to that frequency. All right, Virgo? All right. Next up, we've got Libra. Let's see what we got for Libra. Okay, Libra. Y'all are in your manifestation bag this week. Okay, y'all have the Magician. You are feeling powerful, but some of you are also on some fuck shit. I literally just heard that. Trust me, it's not me that's saying that. Some of you are on some sly trickster type shit this week. You guys are feeling very powerful. And I feel like this is a week where you exude a lot of personal power. But with great power comes great responsibility. I believe that's the phrase. And so there's this element of, all right, I'm super powerful. I can make anything happen. Okay. Just be mindful of not using that power to the detriment of others, because what goes around will come around. And you know me, karma is not a morality thing. Karma is just cause and effect. That same power that you are using against someone in a negative way will come right back around to you in that same negative way. Okay. So just be mindful, but otherwise enjoy this power. Use it constructively. It's not to say that you can't use this power to manifest things that you want. But if you're trying to have a particular lifestyle, if you're trying to have your life look a certain way, focus on that. It's almost like what I'm seeing is, the genie in the bottle allegory, right? Where someone happens upon this lamp, they rub it, a genie comes out, and you only got 3 wishes, right? It's not to say that your power is finite, but there's something about the timing that may be finite. It's almost like you've got $10,000, right? And it's like a game show, right? You've got $10,000 and you've got 10 minutes to go into the store and get anything that you want, right? What are you going to do with those 10 minutes? Are you going to just willy-nilly pick whatever just for the sake of having something? Or are you going to strategize and be like, no, let me do this, let me do that? There's something about using your power constructively. And again, it's not because your power is finite, but the timing may be finite. This sense of power, this influence, right, may be for a finite time. So make the best of it. So use this wisely. And again, don't use it to people's detriment, because it'll come right back to bite you in the ass. Okay. Next up, we've got Scorpio. Let's see what we've got for Scorpio for this week. Scorpio, we've got the King of Wands. I'm getting that this is a person. This is someone that you're interacting with this week. I'm getting like a boss or a superior or someone like that you perhaps work with. I see that this person is looking at your work or looking at your contributions favorably. I see this person being very motivated to work with you, to hire you, maybe even to promote you. And I feel like it may happen quickly. Like there's something about the way that this person views you. Like they're very confident about what they think about you. So if you are a top tier, top notch employee, like no one can change their minds about how they think about you, which is great. So I feel like there is this element of upward mobility when it comes to work. For some, if you are a business owner, I feel like this is a week where you're feeling confident. It's almost like you're overseeing your operations and you're seeing that everything is running smoothly. Things are happening as they should. Things are coming together, and it has you feeling confident. It also has you feeling like you want to make some new moves, right? Perhaps you're seeing that your system is running like a well-oiled machine. And now you're like, okay, it's time to take on a new project. I've mastered this. This thing is running on autopilot. So now I can introduce something else. So I feel like when it comes to work this week, I feel like things are looking up. Things are looking good. You are viewed favorably in the eyes of superiors, perhaps even customers. And maybe this is the time, especially with the full moon in Aries, that you're going to want to take on a new project or maybe add more responsibility, because whatever you've done in the past, I see that working pretty well. So maybe this is the time to expand. This is the time to grow. This is the time to scale whatever it is you're doing. Or maybe it's time for a promotion. Perhaps this boss that's looking on you favorably is ready to give you a bonus. They're ready to give you more responsibility with more pay, better time, whatever it is. But when it comes to work, I see things looking good, and I see you feeling very confident about these new changes that are coming. Okay. All right. That was Scorpio. Next up, we've got Sagittarius. Let's see what we've got for Sagittarius for this week. Okay, Sag. We've got the Strength card. It's a very interesting message that I'm getting for you. Shut the hell up. And I mean that with love. I don't mean that in a bad way, but I think that less is more when it comes to communication this week. There's something about your mouth that can be kind of reckless at times. And I feel like Spirit is like, as much as I want you to communicate with people and be social, be mindful of what it is that you say and how you say it. Notice that this card, it's this woman and she's sort of closing this lion's mouth. I feel like Spirit is this woman and you are this lion. Certain things don't need to be said, especially the way that you want to say them. Sometimes you guys can bark at people. You guys can roar at people. And Spirit is like, I need you to calm that down this week. Much more can be accomplished if you approach things from a very calm, cool, and collected energy, as opposed to flying off the handle, jumping to conclusions, and like barking at people. For some, I'm hearing that you are this way because you feel very confident in what it is that you have to say. Like whatever it is that you feel the need to bark at this person for, it's because you feel like you really know your shit. Or you feel like you really need to defend yourself because your position is the right position. And that may be true. However, it's about the delivery. Now, remember I said this full moon in Aries has a lot to do with relationships. And Aries is the sign of war. So whenever we have any planet in Aries, there's a propensity for conflict. There's a propensity for combativeness. And I feel like you could be met with situations this week that require you or that make you combative. It could be a competitive situation where it brings out your angry side, right? Resist the urge to roar at people. Not to say that you shouldn't express yourself, but it's all about the delivery. The delivery is super important this week. And it's not to say you need to placate people or you need to, talk like this and whatever. No, you can still get your point across confidently and forcefully without barking at people. When I say barking, it's like not only is the tone of your voice like rumbling and roaring, but sometimes y'all can say some reckless things. This isn't the week to say reckless things. Okay. You can get your point across without being mean, without being combative, and without roaring in people's faces. I think that doing so will take you a lot farther than if you didn't. Okay? All right. So that was Sagittarius. Next up, we've got Capricorn. Let's see what we've got for Capricorn. All right, Capricorn, we've got the 5 of Wands. So there is this element of combativeness this week that I think will be very evident once the moon moves into Aries and when it reaches full moon status on Friday. There could be conflict, there could be competition. For some, this may be in your closest relationships. I'm seeing like petty arguments or disagreements over little shit. Like it's nothing crazy, but I do think that there's some back and forth with people. There's some, no, I said this, no, I said this, no, I want that. Like it's just petty arguments. So I feel like if you can push past this competitiveness, this pettiness, I think that you can find a suitable middle ground, okay? I'm also hearing that you should definitely unplug. So some of you, this combativeness is coming from the fact that maybe you're not getting enough sleep. Maybe your nervous system is all over the fucking place. Maybe you're just feeling unsettled or you're scared or you're insecure. And so this combativeness, this pettiness is coming from a place of anger. It's coming from like an unsettled spirit. So for some, this is your cue to unplug, right? Unplug from the matrix, unplug from whatever it is you're doing. Meditate, like get back to yourself. Like it's one of those woo-saw kind of moments. Like some of y'all are gonna need a woo-saw moment because y'all are just, you're acting from ego, you're like triggered, you're feeling a lot of shit right now, and there's, that happens. But the message for you undoubtedly is to unplug, and things will go a lot more pleasantly. Okay. All right. Next up, we've got Aquarius. Let's see what we've got for Aquarius for this week. All right, Aquarius, we've got the Page of Pentacles. You guys are in the learning stages right now. There's something, a particular skill that you're learning this week. So it could be a skill related to money. It could be a skill related to finances, but there's learning that's going on this week. And this learning is going to be tangible. For some, it could be in a traditional learning sense, like school, like instruction, like a webinar, like a seminar, anything like that. For others, it's learning through your relationships. For some, I'm also hearing that this learning has a lot to do with your self-worth and your value. So many of you are learning about yourselves this week, how to value yourselves, or just how valuable you are. Remember I said this week has a lot to do with relationships. The relationships that you are interacting with this week may really show you how valuable people think you are. And I get the sense that that is the overwhelming message for a lot of Aquarians out there. Like this is a week where you're like, wow, people really do like me. Or wow, like people really value the work that I do or the services that I provide. It's one of those pat on the back kind of weeks where you really learn some good stuff. Either you're learning about finances or you're learning about how valuable you are. Glean the lesson, appreciate the feedback that you get, and use that as motivation to keep learning and to keep moving forward positively. Okay. And then finally, last but not least, we've got Pisces. Let's see what we've got for Pisces for this week. Pisces, we've got the Justice card. The Justice card has everything to do with Libra energy. So Pisces, for you, Libra is your I can't think of it off the top of my head, but you're going to want to look at your natal chart and look at where Libra is. The sun is in Libra right now. So there is an emphasis on that particular area of your life. I'm hearing divine justice. So perhaps there's a situation that's been unfair where the scales have been tipped in a very sort of like this, right? And I feel like this is a week where divine justice starts to take place. I'm not hearing that this week is when the justice is served. I'm hearing like the scales are starting to move. They're starting to equalize. Okay. And it's important that you maintain a somewhat positive attitude during this time, because I'm hearing like gloating or like sore loser. Like if someone's been doing you wrong and you're starting to see that they're getting that energy back around to them, this isn't the time to be like, ha ha, I told you so. Or yeah, look at what's happening to you now. Like you did this to me. Now look at what's happening to you. Like keep your mouth shut. Divine justice is just that, divine. Let the divine handle it. You don't need to add fuel to the fire. You don't need to exacerbate anything. Let the scales of justice do their thing. Okay. Also, when it comes to a legal situation, I see there may be some back and forth. This may be a week where things aren't settled, where if you're in negotiations, like there may be some back and forth. There may be some, no, I don't want this, and, back and forth. But things will eventually even out. But I don't think, for either scenario, I don't think this is the week where justice is served. I think that this is the week where justice is starting to come where the scales are starting to balance out. All right. All right, my loves. So that concludes this edition of the weekly Astro Forecast. I sincerely hope that you were able to get at least one important piece of information that you can use going into this coming week. All right. Again, I'll be doing the monthly Astro Forecast for October on Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live here on YouTube. And check out the description box and the link services for my new service, the Eclipse Season Report. Okay, you're definitely going to want to jump on that. All right, my loves. Again, thanks so much for tuning in. Have an amazing week, and I will see you next time. All right, take care.